Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Six Rings King Show on a new night, Monday night now, baby. We're really excited actually to have Eric McLean on the show here, college football analyst, co-host of the Huddle. Coach, yes, all right.
First touchdown of the year.
Miami Hurricanes, yeah. You know the name already. It's Mercy. Ha ha. It's a six-ring Kane show. Can't forget the name, yo. Got Jazz, Blue, Vision, DJ, break the game code. Ain't no changing them, ain't no breaking them. Real important live from the Hard Rock Stadium. Ball 14 for the orange and green. You see the six-ring champs. There's more than a dream. This is life on the field. Beyond 100 yards, a hurricane that's never still put a damage to your squad.
What's wrong with us? Seriously.
What's wrong with us? We're Miami Hurricanes fans.
Welcome to the Six Rings Kane Show, a show dedicated to Miami Hurricane sports, featuring the legendary Larry Bluestein, Jazz Santana, Vish, and Danny Gillette. Let's go Canes.
Well, you know I'm already in a good mood because everybody on College Game Day chose FSU over Miami. So, you know, that's a superstition in me, you know. So I'm ready to go. I am ready.
I'm ready as well. It is.
Here we go,
FSU
baby.
game day, man. FSU game day.
This is what it's all about, man. Welcome to the pregame show here. As you can see, it's the real troopers, right? It's Vish and Jazz, baby. We do it all, man. No. Shout out to Larry. He was actually covering some high school football last night, all the way up in Orlando. So Blue is probably not going to make it. I think he just got home like 2 hours ago. So I told him, dude, don't even worry about it. We'll see you at the game, man. So, but we've got a big one. It's a big one no matter what, right?
It's the big one.
Yeah, it's really the only big one this year. Throw records out the window. 5-3, 4-4 is not that appealing anyways for a lot of people. A lot of people think that this is FSU all the way. They're a more talented team, yada, yada, yada. There's one X factor to me, right? And I got this already this morning because, of course, I decided to go out with a Miami Hurricanes shirt to go grab some, shout out to Dunks. But, which, by the way, Dunkin' Donuts is the worst place to go get anything in Miami. Like, the lines are stupid long. It takes forever for everything, but I still like it. So, yeah, it is what it is.
I mean, the Starbucks by my place here was like the drive-thru was like looped in like a spiral.
Yeah.
It was looped around so many times.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But look, without further ado, what I was about to mention there before I, of course, go off on a tangent with my ADD. The biggest X factor is TVD going to play? Is he going to be on the field? Is he going to start for Miami Hurricanes? I think that we can all agree. And I got it, as I was saying, right? At the Dunkin' Donuts, I walk in, and the guys next to me looked like he had Gator gear on because he had an orange shirt but blue shorts. So I'm like, oh, this guy's a Gator, but he's talking to me about the Canes. So maybe he's just whatever. Pointed, he's like, hey.
Just throw on some blue shorts. Leave him alone.
Yeah, right? I know. Right?
I'm
looking at him like sideways, and I'm like, sure, whatever.
The
bro.
likely answer is the man just threw on some blue shorts.
That's probably the answer for sure. But he's like, hey, man, is Tyler Van Dyke going to play? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. We'll see if he does.
I mean,
yeah, it's good. He's like, because Jay Garcia is not the guy. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. But, like, the truth is TVD is, he is the guy on this team, man. And we go as he goes.
And I think, this is not a knock on Jake Garcia as much as a compliment to Tyler Van Dyke. This guy is projected to go in the first round of the NFL draft. You can't just lose someone like that, plug the backup in, and not have a drop-off. And the offense was already – okay, especially moving the ball. It's one of the best in the country at moving the ball. Scoring's a little different matter, but it could not afford to lose a first round pick off the center of the offense. I mean, so this is not. I think some people have probably gone a little bit too far in saying Jake Garcia is a problem without recognizing that no, it's the drop off from a first round pick caliber quarterback to anyone is a problem. And that's kind of what we experienced last week, where they tried to manage the game around him because, TVD is a generational type of talent, and I don't think we really realize that all the time. than expecting, oh, he got injured, just plug the backup in, it'll be fine.
Yeah,
There's certain
so-
players you can't lose.
I don't know if you guys realize we are not Alabama. So
But even Alabama, when they plugged their
They had
backup
a
in,
drop-off with
they
Milroe.
almost lost it. I mean, they struggled against Texas A&M, who
with Milroe,
I mean, I mean, they almost lost. They're right down there at the goal line to lose that game to A&M's backup quarterback, by the way. Like, so it's just like, no, like even Alabama, when they lose Bryce Young, there's a drop off.
By the way, speaking of Texas A&M, they play the Gators today. They are down about I think I saw it on Twitter. It's like 16 starters and backups together combined.
Yep, yeah, they
That's
got a flu outbreak. Get your
Yep.
flu shots, people.
Yeah,
Get your
man.
flu shots.
Bad, bro. Woo! I was like,
No,
holy
because
crap.
again, like you get your flu shot, it's not going to necessarily prevent you getting the flu. It limits the symptoms, and
Right.
if I'm assuming like a lot of them probably didn't.
I'm sure they didn't. Yeah, I'm sure
Um,
they don't have it.
And then that way you don't get a sick, and then you don't have the whole team out.
Right. Yeah, especially if you're
So-
playing a team sport like that,
And actually, the only
sometimes
thing
you
I'm
got to
upset
do it
about
to
there-
protect each other.
Yeah, because you're all on top of each other too. But
Right.
the only thing I'm really upset about is they're playing Florida, and this is BS, man. Florida should have caught that L today. Instead, now they're just
I
playing
know.
like a JV team. This is crap.
That's
We
wild,
got a
man.
free win out of this. That's not acceptable, man. We can't have Florida getting a free win out of this.
No, sir. Hold on, because I hope this thing doesn't ring because my mom's calling me on the other line. I'm like, Mom, I should tell her, Mom, don't bother me. It's FSU day. I mean, it's game day. Leave me alone. I love my mother. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so
so this is out on air. She's gonna hear this.
Yeah. yeah, she watches some of my stuff. So, yeah. It's just love you, Mom. Love you. No, but like in all seriousness, you nailed it, right? This is a generational player. He's he's the top player on our team, hands down. And that's not, and again, that's not to take away from Jay Garcia. Now, if he does start this game, that means that he's probably gone the last 2 or 3 weeks running with the ones, and that's going to help him. The confidence from last week's game, whether it was an ugly game or not, he finished the game strong, scored the game-winning 2-point conversion. So there's a little bit of confidence building with him. He's got the arm strength. He's got the talent, right, to be a really good quarterback. But it's tough, man. It's tough to throw him in the fire there and expect him to come out and win, all these games and just dominate. It's not going to happen. Could he start this game and win? Yeah, absolutely. They could win. He's going to have to play really well, but that's not. It's not beyond the realm of possibility that he can play really well and win. It's just that what you're going to get, right? You're going to get with TVD. He's going to come out and he's going to ball out.
Yeah.
Chances
It's
are
a
he
different
will.
game plan. It's a different game plan if it's Jay Garcia. And I know there's a lot of criticism of last week's game plan. I mean, what they were trying to do was get him into positive situations to throw at him. That's why there's a lot of second and medium throws.
Shout out to
You know,
Flo,
that's
by the
where-
way. Shout out to Flo.
Yeah, definitely shout out to Flo. There was a lot of second and medium throws because those are the easiest, because you could run pass, you can check down for first downs. Those are the easiest throws, and he wasn't hitting those. And then it turns into then third medium, which we can convert, and it killed a bunch of drives. But that is the plan with him, and I don't think it's a bad plan. It just didn't work. So I'd expect a similar, if it's Jake Garcia, I expect a similar game plan. A lot of running on first down, try to get some positive yardage, put him into second and medium, and those are good downs to throw on because kind of the whole field's available to you. Then you can take a shot where you can throw like 5-6 yard passes to try to get the first down. So he missed some open deep shots last week, and Mario even said in the postgame, he's like, we were hitting those in practice. He's got to hit those, and that was definitely the game plan. And since we didn't hit them, we didn't score. But the game plan was to play it conservative, don't turn the ball over, and hit a few shot plays and get to like 20 points and win the game that way. And if it's Jake Garcia, it's probably going to be a similar game plan because you cannot afford those turnovers. And we saw against Duke when they tried to throw it with him and essentially throw to win the game, right? He's not there yet. And I think that's why they ought to be conservative with him. TV is a completely different ballgame, right? You can just have him back there making plays. Like you want to put Jake Garcia in a position where he can, where he's running a few plays that he's comfortable with and where he can make big plays out of that. Whereas Tyler Van Dyke, you just want to continue to put him in a position where he's the guy that the offense is running around, and the plays will come because he's at that level right now. So it's just a different game plan. Either way, though, it's gonna regardless of who plays, though, the defense is going to have a lot of pressure on them. If they give up, some chunk plays, big plays, it's going to be hard for our offense to keep up, regardless of who's playing quarterback.
Now, with all that being said, right, like teams have been able to run on this Florida State defense, which, we obviously ran the ball pretty well last week against Virginia. Henry Parrish had a good game. Inez Cooper got his first start, which I think he probably will get his second start this week.
Yeah, I can't imagine after that. That was a great performance.
I can't imagine him not playing, right? So, which is good. I think we've all spoken about Cooper and how talented he is. He's still a young guy, right? So he's going to make his mistakes, but he's going to go in there and he's going to fight and he's going to battle and he's mean, right? He's got a mean streak. He's a really good offensive lineman already as a 18, 19-year-old kid. So I think that in order to win this football game, as cliche as it sounds, you're going to have to run the football really well. And with the way that they ran the ball last week, kind of getting some momentum into this week, listen, it's there for you. It's there for you. Henry Parrish having himself a pretty good year, right? Hopefully he continues to stay healthy. He's obviously our RB1. The truth is that there isn't much more behind him other than Jalen Knighton. And as
Lucius,
you like to call him, Luscious Stanley.
Luscious. Our boy Luscious over there. You
can throw in Chad Franklin, but we all know where he is
now. I think the carries are Parrish primary ball carrier, and then when they need to spell him, it's going to be Stanley. I don't think the other two play. I think last week that was pretty clear, and Gaddis this week said we're at the time of the season where you got to just start. You can't just keep trying to hope that someone gets it together. You got to make playing time decisions.
I'll tell you what. I disagree. I think Knighton's going to play a little bit. I think they're going to give him a shot. He's just look. I understand he's struggling. I'm with you. I agree. I think he's too explosive for them not to have plays where he can try to make a play.
We haven't seen it this year.
I know we haven't seen it much this year. I get that.
These coaches haven't seen it. All they've seen is fumbles and not hitting the hole.
I still think they're going to give him a shot. I just feel like I like Lucius Stanley. I think he's a pretty good back. He did really well. Look, running backs are good anywhere they go. So it doesn't matter whether he's playing at UAB or he's playing at Miami. You're a good back. You're a good back. He's a good back. And so I think that he can spell Henry Parrish and this team still be productive because I think he's good enough. Still think that they're going to try to implement Jalen Harris. Who the hell is that? Jalen Knighton somehow into this game plan. And frankly, I think that he's a home run hitter on that running back core. You might have to give him a shot or two. And I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I'll
tell you the other. We can joke about it. Vish, but he's still the home run hitter. Like if you give him the ball and he does it the right way, nobody's gonna catch him, right?
I think one time this year we hit him on a wheel route, and that's the only play he's made. The big play he's made the entire year, and I don't think the coaches are gonna trust him. I think if we fall behind, they might have a package with him in there, but I don't think they're gonna break it out early if it's another nip and tuck close game like last week. You can't trust him with the ball in his hand right now. Yeah. That fumble is going to cost you the game. I think it's more if we fall behind and we start, all right, we got to because games always have their own rhythm. I think one of the things that happened last week is both teams were trying not to make mistakes. Both teams were playing conservative, and that's the way the game unfolded. If Florida State jumps out, we're going to have to shift game plans. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. You can't run and go on a 10-minute drive and kick a field goal when you're down 14-0. So, if there's a lead there, that changes everything. Then I think, he'll probably get on the field more. But I can't imagine in the first quarter if it's 3-0, they're sitting here, let's get him some carries here. I just don't see it happening. Maybe obviously I could be wrong. I'm wrong about everything, so why wouldn't this be any different? But
if you listen to our F1 show, you'll know.
All right, man. But they change the rules every race. No, I'm just kidding. The other thing is, I think the reason they'll use Stanley at least as the primary backup, and maybe Knighton will have a package, is that where, like you said, they're trying to get some explosive plays out of him, is the way he hits the hole. And Mario's he's a heads down coach, and Jalen Knighton's definitely more of a dancer, which generates your bigger plays, but also leads to more negative plays. And I think what they're looking for when Parrish is in the game is, if we give you the ball and it's blocked for 3 or 4 yards, we need you to get 3 or 4 yards. And Knighton will get you sometimes 10 out of that and sometimes 1 out of that. And I don't think Mario's in for that kind of running back. And he's been talking about it all year about how we're not maximizing yards. Some of these plays are blocked well, and we don't get yardage out of it. He's talking about Knighton. So I think I'm not going to say he won't play. Well, I'm not saying he's not going to play, but I still think it'll be Parrish 1, Stanley 2 off the bench.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. We saw that last week also. So the other question for me is, and then we'll shift over to defense after that. Is really how is the wide receiver group going to kind of pan out? Are they going to give Jake Garcia the opportunity to, and I say it as if Jake Garcia is starting. If TVD starts, again, we all know that's a completely different game plan, completely different story. I think he can throw anybody open and get the ball to anybody. But if it is Jake Garcia, the wide receivers are going to have to do a better job of getting open and making plays with the football in their hands. You're going to have to get the ball to X. You're going to have to get a ball to Kobe Young, Ladson, Jacoby George. Some of those are Brashard Smith, right? You mentioned Brashard Smith in the show on Monday that you want to see more out of him. You want to see him kind of resurface and be that.
He's coming along. He's coming along. He's getting like he's gotten better as the season's gone along, and now you got X back. So there's legitimately we're getting to the stage where we have options at receiver again, because with the emergence of Colby Young, we got George back. X is supposed to be a full go this week. Brashard's coming along. You mentioned Latson's been making some catches. There's actually a rotation there finally in Game 9 where we can actually we can go to multiple guys here and they can make plays for us. And you have no audio, so I'm going to keep talking while you figure that out.
There we go. I'm back.
All right. Now you're back. Yes.
Oh man. Yeah. I think that the biggest thing for me is get some of those guys in a rhythm. Also, get some of those guys in a rhythm. If someone's hot, don't bring them out. Just let them stay in there. If Kobe Young has caught 3 straight balls for 50 yards, don't pull him out. I mean, unless he's tired, obviously he wants to come out. But don't pull him out. Keep him in there. Get some rhythm with Jake Garcia and the guys that he's able to connect with, because that's going to give him more confidence. Also, it's going to allow him to be more confident making bigger plays. We know that he likes to take risks, right? And sometimes the risks that he takes are not as calculated as a guy like TVD, right? So it's about ball placement, and sometimes he's not great at that, and that's okay. But we need to minimize those risks. Also, we keep talking about Lucius Stanley and some of the short yardage stuff. I think you're going to see a lot more Jakari Brown this game too, in those instances, and you might see him throw the ball, because I think this is the game where you want to see a little wrinkle. Josh Gaddis is gonna have to put together some sort of a package where there's some wrinkles in the game and get Jakari Brown to do some other things, because if not, of course, they're gonna key in. They're gonna put 8 in the box, 9 in the box when it's 3rd and short or 4th and short, and they know that Jakari's gonna run, right? Not to say he still can't get it, because I think he's talented enough where he can, but maybe throw in a throw here and there. I'd love to see that, and that's just gonna listen, Lenoris, from your mouth to God's ears, my friend. That's a beautiful score right there. I love it. Shout out, though. I appreciate that.
Just seeing that put me in a good mood now.
I know. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. Let's do it, baby. Oh man. Yeah, we haven't seen him put together a full game.
This is the interesting thing with the team, right? We've done pieces. One game will run the ball well, one game will throw it well. One game will play well defensively, and the next game will give up too many chunk plays. We have not had a complete game yet, but we've actually seen each element of the team play well in an individual game. I mean, there was the A&M game, we missed a bunch of field goals. Yeah. Right? If we did that last week, we would have lost, but he made every kick. And it's just we've never have gotten it all together at the same time, so maybe today's the day. So,
flipping it over on the defensive side of the football. Obviously, I think we know what the biggest key is in that, right? And it's stopping Jordan Travis, containing Jordan Travis.
It's stopping the run as a whole. They have a lot of
legs, right?
Well, he does too. But they have a lot of backs.
Is Ward playing? I don't think he's playing. I think it's just Benson.
I thought he was.
Well,
either way, they are the number 1 rush team in the ACC. So you gotta take that run game away. Everything's set up off the run game.
Right. Miami's done a pretty good job in
we're number defense. 3, I think, in run defense in the ACC. We have a very good run defense.
Yeah, so I think I think that the run game, you're gonna have to. Some of these running backs might get their yards. I think at the end of the day, it's third down. excuse me, it's third down efficiency, fourth down efficiency. Can the defense get off the field? Can they contain Jordan Travis enough to where they can, flip the field around and not let him get in the red zone, not let him do his thing? I think it's going to be important because, we spoke about this with Flo. And I keep reiterating it every time that I talk about it because I think he hit the nail right on the head. It's if Jordan Travis has a lights out game, Florida State can beat a lot of people, right? He's that good. He's a really good quarterback. And they've got some decent wide receivers, right? They've got the big kid,
Wilson.
Johnny Wilson, right? Johnny Wilson.
Yeah, no, he's a beast. That's the guy you got to
big kid,
take away
6'7".
somehow.
I guarantee you that it's going to be Tyreek most of the time on him because he's our bigger corner.
Well, do we travel our corners or is it formational sides?
That's
Like
a good
if he
question.
lines it-
I'm not sure.
I don't think we travel him.
I don't think they do.
Tyreek's always So I think they'll try to isolate him on DJ Ivy.
Right. Yeah, you're right. And you know what? Ivy's a big corner too. So
He's got the physical.
Yeah.
We're back to the Ivy discussion.
I think he can.
We're back to the Ivy discussion where physically he matches up with anyone. So it's not that bad to have him matched up on Wilson from a physicality standpoint.
But then you got the little guy. You got Micah Pittman, the little guy. He's like our X/Broussard type of guy, right? And then you've got that other kid. Gosh, I forgot his name now. It's a funky first name, Uzi or something like that. Anyways, they've got some some decent talent on the outside. So if Jordan Travis can be contained a little bit, then you've got an opportunity for these cornerbacks to make some plays. You've got to put some pressure on him with your front four, and I'm sure they're going to go exotic on some stuff. With their linebackers as well. I think Charlie Strong and Kevin Steele are going to come up with a really good game plan for these linebackers. They have to.
Yeah, and it's execution, though. It is, lane discipline is so key when you play quarterback like this. If you rush, don't stay in your rush lanes, he's going to run all day on us. And we've seen it the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
First Duke and then Virginia having success with that. Now, to your point, we made halftime adjustments against Virginia and shut that down. Completely. Like Brennan Armstrong did not have success running in the second half. And that was from an adjustment, but Jordan Travis is a much better runner than Brennan Armstrong is. So if you rush a little bit wide on your as a defensive end, he's going to go right up inside you and run for 20 yards. So you got every single play. You let up one time, you make one mistake, he's going to run past you. But if you can contain him on the running game, he's not the best passer in football. And so if you can take away his run threat and just force him to stay in the pocket and throw, I'm not that worried about our pass defense in that sense. I don't think everything that they do is run to set up that pass. If you can take the run game away and force him to throw first, that's a win for the defense. And teams have done that. We're not statistically and on paper, we're not that different from NC State's defense, which had a lot of success against Florida State. Held them to 17 points. So we have that in us. It's just, you've got to keep the explosive plays out and really contain him. And frankly, hit him on every play. If he's going to run, make him feel it.
By the way, I got to give a shout out right now to Max, who, by the way, Max was supposed to come down for the game, but he couldn't make it. So I hit him up because I was interested in, talking about this before we left. And we'll talk about it in a second. Holy crapper. We're definitely going to talk about this. This is awesome. The list of visitors for this game, I think it's important to mention. And you're going to want to hear this, Canes fans. Whoever's watching this show right now, you're going to want to listen to this list that I have in front of me right now. That is absolutely bananas. Obviously, some are committed already, but others are possibly going to make it. So it's pretty cool. But let's kind of finish off with the actual game itself really quick with some keys to the game and what we can expect. I love what Lenore says there. Tight end must block better this game. First deep pass up the middle to Miami, tight end TD over 40 yards. Man, I love where you're going with this, brother. I love where you're going with this.
Lenore is just speaking a lot of positivity into existence.
Hell yeah, I love it, baby. Good vibes, positive vibes all day, baby. I love it. So Will Mallory is going to have a monster game. We know that. From a blocking perspective, we know what he is. He's not a blocking tight end. He's a pass catcher. Okay, so he is what it is. So you're gonna have to have these sets where you're gonna bring in a lot of Dom. You're gonna have Dom in. You're gonna have right. I keep saying Riley Skinner. I don't know why, but it's it's Jaleel Skinner. Um, you have to have a lot of Jaleel Skinner. Jaleel Skinner can block a little bit, but those guys are going to have some big games. Brantley is probably one of the better blockers as well. So,
They started using him again.
They
like
did.
we talked about Gaddis last week. He's like, we're making playing time decisions now, and they clearly look, we got to be able to block on the edge for this running game to work. So, Khalil Brantley is going to play, and that's what he did. And you know what? That game last week, it was physical, and we met that physical challenge. And you know what? Even when we were winning the last few years, I've been able to say that about a lot of Miami teams. We're like, man, we were physical today. We tackled well. We put them on their ass when they were running. Our offensive line got pushed. Our receivers were physical. You got to carry that forward here. This is a game about physicality. And to Lenore's point, block the tight ends. Everyone's got to block. If you're the smallest guy in the field, you got to put your guy in his ass too.
100%.
That's the attitude you got to come in this type of game. And once you start hitting them, they stagger because they weren't expecting it.
Right.
You got to come out with that physical mentality. And to answer the question, that's what Mario's trying to bring to this team. That's ultimately how you're successful, is to be physical. And then you add the skill to the physicality. You're not going to skill your way around physical losses because you can have the best receiver in the country. If the offensive line can't block, the pass is not going to get to him. Right. So it's all about physicality. And that's the approach today. And that's the approach he's trying to bring every week.
Look, it's a big thing. It's a big thing. If you can punch them in the mouth early, I know it's FSU and they're going to keep coming because it's a rivalry game. But if you can punch them in the mouth early, people tend to get quiet. People tend to kind of say, "Oh crap, we're getting the daylights beat out of us." Things change a little bit. The morale of the team changes, and that's what you want. You want to be able to, like you said, come out strong, come out hard, and
it's 60 minutes of just hitting them on every.
You have to, and I think that Mario's teams are known. Look, the effort we can all agree, the effort doesn't look like it's been there for a lot of players recently, but if there's anything that Mario can do is get this team, it's not a matter of him not getting his team ready to play. Team's ready to play. It's a matter of execution. We talk about this day and night, but now it's an effort thing as well against a team like FSU. You have to be tougher. You have to be mentally stronger, and you have to go for 60 minutes, like you said.
It's the mentality too of not just trying to be physical, but knowing you're going to be stronger than the guy lined up across you. Right? It's believing that.
Absolutely.
Before the ball is snapped, you're looking across like that's the guy got to block, and I'm going to knock his ass over. Right? It's that mentality that frankly we haven't had for a while. We saw last week. It's Virginia though, but we finally like I said, the tackling last week was out of control.
Yeah.
There were so many times where I was sitting kind of at the level where you could kind of see the whole field, and there were several times where I was like, man, this is going to go for 20 yards for Virginia, and someone on our defense came out and put him on his ass for like a 4-yard gain. Those that hidden yardage you don't realize. And we tackled so well. If we can tackle as well as we did last week, Florida State's going to have trouble scoring.
Absolutely. We just got to bring it. One key for tonight's game, Vish, that will allow this Miami Hurricanes football team to come out on top. What do you got?
Win the turnover battle.
Man.
And win it, not tie it. When's the last time we forced a turnover? I don't even remember. We've been very good defensively, but we have not forced a lot of turnovers. Force some turnovers. Give the offense a shorter field, especially if Jake Garcia is playing. You put him in a positive position. You take over in the other team's territory. All of this stuff that people complain about, slow playing and all that. If the field's shorter, it mitigates a lot of that. And obviously protecting the ball on our end because we just don't have the offense to get into a shootout and win a game in the 40s. So if you start turning it over, we saw what happened against Duke. Obviously, that's an extreme case.
Unless Tyler Van Dyke plays.
Even then, I don't think we want to play that way, even if he plays. I think one of the things people don't
We
realize
don't, but we can. I think that he has.
I don't think we're going to try to do that, though, because what that does is it also exposes your defense.
Sure.
One of the things the offense has done, because we do move the ball a lot. I think we're third in the ACC in total yardage. We move the ball a lot. We go on these long runs and we don't score, which is very frustrating, but it keeps our defense off the field. There were only 4 offensive possessions for each team in the second half last week. as bad as like the game was, like that's not a lot of chance to score. We went on 3 long drives. 2 of them ended at midfield. One of them we started on our 1-yard line, got out to like the 30, and then the 4th one we scored on. That was the entire second half.
It's crazy.
Like, so I mean, that's an extreme, again, yeah, it's an extreme example, but that's how we want to play. It also protects your defense. If we start opening it up, they're going to score more too. And so I think the plan either way is going to be possess the football, play physical. It's just that you should hopefully be able to finish a lot more of those drives, score a lot more points if Tyler Van Dyke plays. But I don't think anyone on our staff wants to be playing in the 30s or 40s. They want to keep the score down. But if you start turning it over, just like the Duke game, all of a sudden then you got to chase the game, and that changes everything. Obviously, that again, bad example because we're chasing the game with Jake Garcia, which is even worse. But that's where the turnovers allow the other team to score quick. We cannot afford that today. So that's why, and if hopefully we can force some too, because we just haven't done a good job of that.
Yeah, good point. It helps with field position. It helps with a lot of things. So for me, it's going to be the play of the quarterback. If it's Jake Garcia, I just got to see him and it kind of goes into what you said: protect the football, but also command this offense, right? Like move the ball up and down the field, score a couple touchdowns. Obviously, that's always a goal, but go out there and see if you can assert yourself a little bit in this offense and dominate that defensive line. If you can break the will of that defense by running the ball really well and then going to your checkdowns, I think that it's important. If Jake Garcia starts, he has a tendency to not go to his checkdowns, look down the field all the time, make these risky throws, picks, incomplete passes, overthrows, whatever the case is. Whereas he has the checkdowns. He obviously had Khalil Brantley on that 2-point conversion that all you had to do was flick the ball to him. But whatever. Listen, he scored. He scored. But
let's just leave it at that.
Brantley couldn't have been more open. All you had to do was literally flick the ball to him.
It was a situation where like we say, he scored barely. That can lose you a game. Like there is no reason that shouldn't have been the easiest, I guess 2-point technically conversion of the year.
Right.
And it ended up in like replay and stuff.
But I think they saw. Look, I think Miami sees that play call, and says, "Man, this play call works. We can probably use this. Use that play call more." Protect
now
football.
What you're doing there is you're setting up. We have not been able to run inside the 5-yard line. Now that Edge can't crash down on those run plays,
right?
Because he's got to worry about that play. It's all set up, right? Because everyone's been crashing down and we've been handing.
And
it
if
off.
we saw it, I guarantee you, Mike Norvell's staff saw it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So now they gotta worry about us throwing out of that.
Right.
That'll let the run game work better. So.
Yep, I think that's going to be the biggest thing. I think the defense can hold its own if they contain Jordan Travis. So it's contain Jordan Travis. So contain their quarterback, and our quarterback needs to kind of do his thing and command that offense.
And to Lenoris's point, which ties into your key to the game, if it's Jake Garcia, he's got to get off his primary receiver and, like you said, take the check down because he does tend to just stare down the primary receiver, and if it doesn't open up, he either forces it or takes a sack or. Like you got
good things happen when you go to the check down sometimes. Look at that Will Mallory touchdown against Duke. It was his check down. Guy coming up. And we need to use those crossing routes. Hit him on that crossing route and let Will Mallory do his thing or whoever it is,
Yeah. So it's just it's going through his progressions. Again, he's been around so long and he was a big time recruit and he played a little last year and he got into a game this year. Last week was his first start. I think he's so known to us, we kind of forget. Like this is a kid who has not played a lot of football, and so he's still learning. So there's plenty of time to improve, and so hopefully he'll be a little bit better this week at going through progressions, and he can get the ball to the checkdowns, and understand like if it's not there, throw it away. A punt is better than an interception.
Exactly.
So you don't have to make a play on every play.
Oh man, Lenoris, you are throwing out some awesome vibes today, my brother. Awesome vibes, dude. I love it. Oh man, that's your key to the game. Special teams. Special teams, man. Yeah, all three.
Three
wow.
return touchdowns.
Wow.
I'll do it. I'll take that for sure.
Woo, I'm telling you. All right, so let me get into this. You ready? Here are the confirmed players that are visiting
let's do this
today. I don't know if I can name them all because I've got a list of 50 players here. Okay, but let's go.
Sold out crowd, man.
Yeah, I think it's most of them are the players and their families. Tommy Kinsler, obviously a commit. Jackson Carver, another commit. Jeremiah Smith, big time 5-star wide receiver. Okay, Josiah Trader, another 5-star wide receiver. Cortez Mills, another big time 2025 kid. Okay, another wide receiver. You got Ray coming in, obviously, big time guy, Miami commit. Vincent Shavers was a big time linebacker prospect in 2024. Chris Ewald, another cornerback prospect. Antonio Tripp, which is kind of like the ambassador of this Miami Hurricanes commit list. Jaden Wayne. So you got all the IMG guys. They were able to get out early yesterday. I don't know if you heard about this, Vish, or if you saw it on
Yes,
Twitter.
I did. I did.
But their game got forfeited at halftime because they scored 96 points in the first half.
Yeah, it was.
IMG.
It was another probably not legitimate opponent for IMG.
Yeah, it
there,
was some team from Toronto. I don't know what's going on there, but whatever. So IMG was able to get out early and travel down without a problem. Antonio Tripp, Jaden Wayne, Ernest Willard Jr. is a big time defensive end commit that we have in 2024. Ezekiel Marceline, he's a big time linebacker, local linebacker. Kendall Jackson, David Stone, who's a big time defensive line prospect. You got the Washington brothers, Robbie and Bobby Washington. Ruben Bain, who, look, listen, that's like another prized possession on top of Cormani McLean. You got to get Ruben Bain in this class. And he's looking really hard at Auburn. Now Auburn is looking for a new coach. So this could really help us out. Okay. Ruben Bain, Dylan Stevenson, Frederick Gaskin, Jamari Howard, Cameron Davis, Nicholas Rodriguez is a big time linebacker, Zaquan Patterson, Frankie Tinanau, our good friend Frankie Tinanau, offensive line commit. Cormani McLean, of course, is going to be there. Oh, this is a big one, right? Hakeem Williams, who's committed to FSU, but he's a visitor. Whether it's for FSU or Miami, but he's there. Okay, Raul Aguirre, baby, not Aguirre, Aguirre. He's coming down for the game. Jalen Rashada, baby, coming all the way from the West Coast, coming to watch his Canes play. Malik Bryan, another linebacker commit. Stanquan Clark was a big-time linebacker prospect in 2023 that Miami is looking at really hard. Damari Brown, we all know Damari Brown situation at corner. Jakeem Jackson, another big-time corner. We've got big-time linebacker out of Columbus. TJ Capers is going to be there. KJ Bolden, Booker Pickett, Booker Pickett, who has by the way, he has 30 sacks this year for Wharton. 30 sacks. So he beat Ruben Bain's record of last year, 30 sacks. Booker Pickett, big time defensive end prospect. Jimothy Lewis, Gavin Nix, Amari Wallace, Jose Leon, who's another stud wide receiver for Columbus. Chamberlain Campbell. Let's see who else. Riley Williams will be there. Reed McKeska, both tight end commits. Tayshawn Lyons, who's another big time wide receiver in 2023 that Miami is looking at. There's another guy that I can't mention that he will be there as well, who is committed to someone else. Okay, so that's a big time possible flip there. We'll see how we feel about that. Andrew Rumpf. I don't know if he's
he's got to be relation, right?
If he's related,
yeah. On there.
I know, right? Jarrett Gibson, Tycleen Lumen, Chance Robinson, who's another big time wide receiver, and then a kid named, this is a great name, Aaron Noland. Like Air Jordan. Aaron Noland, is a quarterback commit. There's some other guys that have been rumored to come. Another linebacker, Jeremiah Marceline, Micah Mays, King Joseph Edwards, that's a fantastic name, King Joseph Edwards, amazing. And another familiar name, right? Wilderson Telemak. I'm not sure if he's related to Vaughn, but another familiar name, and some Tavoy Fagan as well. So there's some big names, and that's just the list of the guys. There's more than that, by the way. Shout out to Max for hooking it up and giving me some info on that list. But yeah, there's some. It's not even updated. That's what he just told me. That's awesome. So this is the game where it matters to these linebackers. It's going to be a full.
It's going to be a full. Yeah, it's going to be a full stadium. They're going to get to experience the big game atmosphere at Miami. We get made fun of a lot for, our non-big game atmosphere, but the big game atmosphere at Miami rivals anywhere in the country. When Notre Dame was here a few years ago, which is kind of the last big home game we've had, I guess Florida State 2018 as well. The commentators on ESPN are saying they've never heard a stadium that loud.
Right.
Like this is, so we do this really well. And so all these recruits in here, they're going to get to see the big time atmosphere, what a big game in Miami looks like. And you know what? I'll put that up against Alabama or any of these other ones that fill it every week. The big game here is bigger. And that's actually what this rivalry, pulling back in today's game, has always been about.
Absolutely.
This rivalry, in terms of big games, is the biggest.
Yep.
We do it bigger
Hands
than
up.
everyone else.
Hands down. Hands
That's what
down.
Miami's about.
Listen, just to kind of
There's some
answer
comments around here, but
Yeah. Just to answer that, it matters. It matters, man. Yeah, we need players with heart and a wolf's mentality. Let me ask you, where are you going to get those kids? In Pop Warner? I mean, those kids are a lot of the kids on this list have exactly what you're talking about, right? Heart and a wolf's mentality.
and to
Stars
and I guess
matter.
if you-
I don't. This whole notion that stars don't matter. Stars absolutely matter.
But,
And yes, it's about
so-
getting the right guys that are big time players. and
exactly.
I get that.
And I think one of the challenges we've had is, especially with the previous head coach, what type of player is attracted to that kind of atmosphere to go play in?
Absolutely.
The tackling dummies, the yachts, all of that stuff. Those are the kids that probably have come in with a lot of talent, but aren't really primarily focused on, being the best football player they can be. So part of Mario's job, yes, stars absolutely matter, is to filter down to not just stars, but attitude. And that's the coaching evaluation. And he's the best in the business at doing that. So with Nick Saban, you ask him who's the best at that, he'll say Mario Cristobal. Like this is what he does. So as much as we get frustrated with why is he using this timeout, he is the best of the best at specifically this. Not just getting the 5-star in, but getting the right 5-star in.
Right.
So the one thing we do not need to worry about is that.
But here's the thing. Hold on a second.
Okay, so hold on. So there's some Gaddis stuff going on, which I just want to talk about real quick. So our 4-star quarterback is we were second in the ACC in passing yardage with him being quarterback. We actually averaged the exact same yards we did last year. So I get it. We're not scoring, and that's a problem. But you guys have stopped watching the games, to be honest. And it's just like, oh my god, we punted, fire everyone, and frankly look ridiculous. And so whether Gaddis is here next year is probably going to have a lot to do with how well he's meshed with Mario. They haven't worked together before, and a lot less to do with on-field performance. Our stats are pretty much identical to what they were last year other than scoring. And our difference between total offense and scoring offense is like second or third in the ACC to like 9th or 10th. That gap is uncommon, and it's how they address that going forward and whether or not this offense will be good. But this idea that like Gaddis is a moron and nothing is working, like, I'm sorry, it's just not backed up by the way the games are being played. So I don't know what to tell you guys. And if you're saying the passing offense stinks, it's one of the best in the ACC. So again, not sure exactly what you're watching.
It's a weak argument to say.
Rant over.
Yeah, and it's a weak argument to say I've never. And I don't want to go into too much detail with this because this is a game we're previewing FSU.
Yeah.
But it's a weak argument to say I've never seen a star tackle anyone. Well, what the hell was a 5-star? What the hell was Will Anderson? Will Anderson's a 5-star prospect, right?
Well, here we
the
go.
Best player in the country. So let's
we can even use our own examples. Leonard Taylor ate everyone last week.
Yeah. 5-star guy, right? I mean,
he was killing people.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about here? Yeah, you're gonna get your guys that are 2 and 3 stars that develop and become better football players, and that's great. But you also need your 4 and 5-star athletes. Don't sit here and tell me, okay, that they're not going to be able. You can't forget about the stars. It's crap. Because tell that to Alabama and tell that to Clemson and tell that to those teams that all they have is 4 and 5 stars on their team. And their best players are 4 and 5 stars. That's what Mario's trying to build here. And as a lot of us have mentioned before, what he does the best is talent evaluation and talent development. That's just the bottom line. Give him an opportunity to do that. Like we're knee-jerking because this, that, and the other, and the stars and the stars and the stars and the stars. It matters. And when he gets the right guys in here and develops the guys, then it's going to matter even more. So let's kind of just take a step back. Let's take a step back.
And I'll just close with this. It's FSU day. What the hell are we doing?
Yeah, like calm down.
You're firing the coaches, yelling about stars on recruits. You know what? F all that. It's FSU day. Let's go kick
Jeez,
their ass.
let's have a little damn positivity.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
We're gonna get there, Lenoris. We're gonna get there.
We're gonna get
Yeah,
there.
and it's
I
good.
mean,
You know
it doesn't
what?
happen in 7 games or in 8 games. Let's calm down.
Yeah,
Let's take
but
a step back.
I've seen enough improvement over the overall team and the structure we have in place to believe that we are building the foundation to get there. Come revisit me in 2 or 3 years, and if I'm like saying fire Mario, I'll bring all of you guys on the show and you can tell me I'm an idiot on air to my face.
I guarantee you that there's going to be almost half of this team is going to be completely different next year. And
Lenoris asked the question as to who was going to be in the portal from our current team. As the guy that said last week, we're making playing time decisions, and you see some of the guys that have been getting reps that aren't getting reps anymore. Those are probably candidates.
They'll know at the end of the season, just like you and I will.
Yeah, but I think
and it's going to be a lot of.
Go.
And there's going to be guys that maybe you don't want to go, but they have to because it's about building the right culture here. So it is what it is. Anyways, FSU,
anyway, man, it's Florida State Day.
Let's do it, baby.
Let's look. They're not that good either. They're 5-3. We're 4-4. This is in our stadium. Let's go win this damn game.
That's it.
You want to come say hi to everyone? My niece is pumped up too.
Oh, there she is.
To come in here. Hey, say hi. Oof.
Hi.
You're on YouTube. You're on TV. Okay, you can go. Got shy. Anyway.
If anybody wants to come and shoot the breeze with us at the game, we'll be tailgating over there in the orange.
Yeah, we'll be out there early. We're fired up. Let's go win this damn game. And you know what? Then we'll be sitting there at 5-4 going to Georgia Tech next week.
There you go.
You know, that's a winnable game. And then going to Clemson at 6-4. Having won 3 games in a row. Man, that's right in front of us. Let's go do this.
And all I want is everybody keep bringing the same energy. Good or bad, keep bringing the same energy. Because for the energy you bring for the negative, let's bring it for the positive as well.
Yeah, and I'll say this. Like I said on Gaddis, maybe he's not here next year, and maybe you guys are right. I just can't go into the Florida State game thinking let's fire the offensive coordinator. They're the enemy, man. We're all on the same side here today. They're the enemy. Let's go kick their butts. Like seriously.
What are we sipping on before the game? Talawa 96, man. Woo! I don't know, man. Why don't you come to the tailgate and find out?
I mean, I've got every kind of liquor you can think of in a box right now, ready to load into the car. So we got that. Man. We got a bunch of beer.
We got some Shirley Temples and some.
Was that for you?
We got some Margs. We got some Margs on tap. That's for Evan.
Oh yeah, Evan. That's for Evan. Margs on tap is definitely for Evan. Shout out to Evan, by the way, for hosting us last night at Miller's Ale House by the Falls. You guys go check it out.
That was fun.
The manager there is a friend of our shows, so definitely go. If you're looking for a place to hang out after the game too, they're open till 2 a.m. Go hit up Evan at Miller's Ale House.
And listen, we could have a watch party there soon, so be on the lookout for that.
Yep.
All right, fellas, we'll see you guys.
Right.
Vish, I'll see you in a little while, and let's have fun. No, just bring yourself, Talawa. And by the way, follow us on Twitter because we'll post it. We'll post where we're posted up on Twitter. So everybody can go out there and check us out and hang out with us. We won't post what Abdel said because he's that's trash.
You misspelled Miami. Like the score might be right, but wrong team.
Yeah, you misspelled Miami. And Ben, we won't know yet. We won't know yet who the starting quarterback is going to be, but we'll see. We'll see. We're hearing good news from some people, and we're hearing some crap from others. So we'll see.
Yeah. Either way, you know what? Just don't let them score. Shut them out. We'll win.
Keep it locked to the Twitter at 6 Rings Canes, and we'll definitely post what we're going to be posted up for tailgating. So we'll see you guys out there. Adios. Go Canes. Let's do it.
Yep. Go Canes.
The 6 Ring Cane Show. Yeah. The 6 Ring Cane Show. Yeah. The 6 Rings Cane Show. You know.